What is the dopamine reward system? Before going into what the dopamine reward system is, it is important to understand what dopamine is, as it is one of the key players in this particular reward system. According to our SRB, dopamine is a neurotransmitter, or a chemical communicator, that influences various feelings of reward, such as learning, movement, attention, and emotion. In other words, it is one of the chemical substances that is responsible for our happiness. Now, the dopamine reward system is considered to be the most important reward pathway present in our brains, as it is key to detecting and controlling responses to natural rewards. In turn, this leads to our brains distinguishing various stimuli as incentive or a drive. Various examples of these natural rewards that the dopamine reward system encounters is that of food, sex, and social interactions. For instance, when you get hungry, your dopamine reward system kicks in and communicates to your brain that in previous instances, eating has led to a positive reward to solve your hunger. In order to understand this reward pathway, it is imperative to understand all of the brain parts that play a role in making this reward system occur. In the dopamine reward system, there are various parts of the brain that are involved, as you can see in the picture on the right. The main two that make this system possible are the ventral tegmental area, or the VTA, and the nucleus accumbens, or the NAC. The ventral tegmental area is represented by the purple figure in the picture on the right, and this part of the brain is responsible for the synthesis and storage of dopamine. The dopamine is then released and transmitted to the nucleus accumbens, which is part of the ventral striatum. When the dopamine arrives here, the nucleus accumbens processes this reward and then communicates to the brain that this reward is either beneficial and should be done again, or it is aversive. The other parts of the brain that are present in this system are the amygdala, hippocampus, hypothalamus, and the cerebral cortex, which we have covered in previous units throughout our SRB. The dopamine reward system is a feedback circuit in the brain that creates new pathways, especially for forming habits. This feedback circuit can be both positive and negative. For example, if you do a good behavior, such as eating healthy and exercising, your brain releases dopamine. This release of dopamine over an extended period of time can create a neural pathway for that habit. Thus, you are more likely to continue that behavior in the future. On the other side, you can also do bad behaviors that employ the same mechanism. Drinking or drug use can also cause a release of dopamine, which creates neural pathways for that particular addictive behavior and makes you more likely to continue doing it in the future. Once this pathway has been established, the pathway changes from being learning or forming to being executing and enabling. This is how a behavior can become an addiction. In regards to the relational impact that dopamine can have on a person's well-being, once again, there are both positive and negative aspects. Interpersonal well-being can be positively affected due to the fact that dopamine can improve mood and happiness, which can translate into a person becoming more friendly and having healthier relationships. Conversely, when we look at dopamine causing addictive behaviors, we can see how these stem into negative decisions that affect relationships. For example, pornography can negatively impact how you relate to another person and how you view your own sexuality. In addition to that, people notice addiction, which can cause you to experience more stress and anxiety in relationships, as you may be attempting to hide your addictive behaviors. In week 5, we learned the importance of recognizing our brain's ability to reform its neural pathways through regenerating synaptic connections, the phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. The brain has the ability to grow and change over time, according to both its internal and external environment. A great example of the continual molding and shaping of the brain is the impact a well-balanced diet and exercise may have on an individual's memory. Unfortunately, substance abuse can have a detrimental effect on the subsequent function of the brain and its neuroplasticity. For example, prolonged and excessive use of marijuana can lead to impaired cognitive function, such as delayed response time or mental cloudiness. Substance abuse during the most pivotal times of development can result in deficiencies of motivation regarding the incentives altered by the dopamine reward system stemming from the nucleus accumbens. While studying the cyclic action of the dopamine reward system, it is crucial to remember that addictions are not irreversible. Neuroplasticity is not hardwired, meaning that there can be notable changes that occur within the brain throughout lifetime development. The process of neurogenesis allows for the replenished growth of new neural tissue, leading to stronger and healthier brain function and new neural pathways. Neurorehabilitation is an intervention, sometimes medical, that aids in the revival of a nervous system injury. Neurorehabilitation can take form in a variety of ways, but there are particular treatments that have shown to be more effective than others. Studies have shown that consistent exercise, a regimented and adequate sleep schedule, a holistic way of eating, and structure aid in the rehabilitation of an individual's neuroplasticity. 7 sources that we use to conduct our research for this presentation.